evolution. I'll be talking about early theories of evolution. So, first, let's see what is evolution. Evolution is the genetic change in population from one generation to another that results in development of new varieties and species. All forms are evolved from earlier existing species, which result due to a result of natural processes, and they are still continue to evolve as time passes. So there were a lot of theories which were put for evolution. As we can see, James Usher, he believed in the Judo-Christianism creationism. He proclaimed that the time of creation was 9 a.m. on 23rd October 4004 BC. John Ray, he coined the term genus and species in the late 1600s. Carolus Linnaeus wrote the book Systema Naturae, first published in 1735. He gave many organisms their Latin names, including Homo sapiens. He placed primates. He placed humans among the order primates, and to show that humans are biologically related to apes. Comte de Buffon, he wrote a book series called Historia Naturale in 1750. He rejected the idea of evolution of species, but accepted that the species can change over generations. Erasmus Darwin, also the grandfather of Charles Darwin, he wrote a book, Zoonomelia, the laws of origin of organic life, in 1794. He believed in the idea of evolution, and his life has been he thought that life has been evolving over millions of years before the history of mankind. Chevalier de Lamarck, he said that microscopic organism appear spontaneously from inanimate materials and evolve gradually and progress into complex organisms, ultimately to human beings through a strive of constant perfection. Evolution was mostly due to inherited characters uh, acquired characters as creatures adapt to their environments, and by use or disuse of body parts, which an example of this is the long neck of giraffe. George Cuvier adopted the theory of catastrophism. He said that violent and sudden natural changes, catastrophes, killed species of that area. Later, newer species from the surrounding area came to the affected area and brought changes in themselves. Charles Lyell, he wrote the book Principles of Geology in 1830, and concluded that Cuvier's theory of catastrophism is wrong. He believed that change was slow and progressive, and was influenced by natural phenomena. James Hutton, he developed the theory of uniformitarianism. Slow and regressive changes on Earth due to natural forces occurring since the past is responsible for shaping the Earth and the living organisms. So these were the early theories before the 19th century, 18th century. Now we come to Charles Darwin. At age of 22, he sailed on a surveyor ship HMS Beagle for 5 years expedition with Captain Robert Fitzroy in 1831. His 5-week visit to Galapagos Island was the most important for him, which helped him formulate the theory of evolution. On Galapagos Island, he found that species from other parts of South America existed on the island but in different forms. So he found that 13 different species of finches had different size and shapes of beaks based on their food habits, and over many generations they change anatomically and in ways that allowed them to get enough food and survive and to reproduce. So we use the term for this. It's called adaptive radiation. This sort of branching of evolution in different populations of a species become reproductively isolated from each other by adapting to different ecological niches and eventually becoming separate species. In 1859, Darwin finally published his theory of evolution, a 490 pages book. The title was On the Origin of Species, which went through 6 editions by 1872. By late 1860s, he coined the famous quote, "Survival of the fittest." The fit individuals were the one who are least likely to die of starvation and therefore are likely to pass on their traits to next generation. Another example famous was in the England of the light and dark color moths due to the coal utilization in the early time period. The bark of the trees turned dark in color, which favored the dark colored moth which favored as the dark colored moth as camouflage, and the light colored moth were eaten up by the birds. But soon, when the coal industries were limited down, the trees became light colored bark, and again the light colored were now favored instead of the dark colored ones. So this is the basic theory, Charles Darwin part. Now evidences, there are many evidences of evolution. We can look through them to conclude that the evolution is real and actually happening. So one of the famous is the fossil records that are found. One was found in the Germany, the fossil of Archaeopteryx, which had evolved from reptiles. It had jaw and teeth and long bony tail like dinosaurs, but broad wings and feathers like birds, and skeletal features of both. Another is chemical and anatomical similarity. So all organisms begin their life as single cells, reproduce themselves by a similar cell division process. Different type of proteins are mostly made out of 22 kinds of amino acids, and vertebrates share the same bone structure inherited from their common ancestors. These are the similarities which say that the evolution exists. And geographic distribution of related species. Many isolated areas often evolve their own distinct human plants and animals. This example can be given as Australia, New Zealand and Hawaii, as they have their unique biodiversity which evolved over the millions of years. And last but not the least, the recorded genetic changes over generations. So individuals whose characteristics allow them to survive in an environmental crisis will be able to reproduce and pass their traits to the next generation. A common example of this is antibiotic resistance bacteria, where the bacteria are first genetically diverse, and then antibiotic is added to the colony, which kills majority of the bacteria, but some survive, and they which are immune to the antibiotic, and later on the immune bacteria grow and multiply to make their make, to increase their colony. And also development, evolution and selective breeding of dogs from their ancestral canine-like species can also be an example of recorded genetic changes over generations. So that's all. Thank you.